Welcome, everybody. Episode 48 of How to Become a Sales Warrior. I'm your host, Eddie Pods, co-host
Mark Simpson from the Sim Holdings.
We have a special guest today. You're going to tell us who it is?
Tony Simas. Did I say that right? I hope so.
Yeah, you said it right.
Perfect. Yeah, Tony, it's a real interesting situation. All relationship from this podcast and through all the relationships, and Tony's been involved with a couple of our businesses.
Excellent, excellent. So before we get anywhere, we like to get right to why are we here?
We are here to share our experience, share our failures and successes with a younger generation. Hopefully you can basically learn from some of these mistakes and go forward in a positive manner. How's that?
I saw so much when I was in Florida last week at a trade show. It was a 4-day show, biggest builder show.
Right.
IBS took over the Orange County Convention Center, 4 buildings.
Yep.
Just tremendous. And I just saw so much enthusiasm at a trade show. It was inspiring.
That is great.
You know, from the people behind the booths to the people showing up, people engaging. It just came to life. Mm-hmm. The only hassle was my hotel was 4 miles away and it was a $68 Uber.
For 4 miles?
For 4 miles.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's they call it the special pricing that they do.
Special pricing.
It's called rip-off pricing.
Yeah, it's called rip-off pricing. Anyway, let's roll into the weekend sports moment that we haven't spoken about for you.
Sports moment. Oh, you know, I'll say this, and this is a rare one, but I'll say the Knicks win.
Yep.
The other night was a big win.
Then they lose.
And then our sports moment is actually going to be moments occurring over the next couple days. Well, besides the USA gold medal, but now it's NFL free agency, and there's all kinds of activities starting just even before.
Tua got cut today.
Did he get cut?
He got cut.
And the Dolphins made a trade with the Jets today.
$93 million they're eating.
Crazy. I'm actually going to try out for a quarterback. I'm seeing if I can get a third string quarterback, a third string contract. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I got St. John's Mets going to the finals for the Big East Conference.
What do you think? How far do you think St. John's going to go this year?
I say they make it to at least to round of 8.
Okay, Elite 8?
At least Elite 8.
Patino's amazing. He's amazing.
He's a stud, man. He always has been.
He's revitalized a dead program in 3 years. It's amazing.
And my last is the Islanders. I know you're a big Ranger fan, but
who are the Islanders?
The Islanders are in second place in their division. Actually, they went down a point to Pittsburgh last night, but they're battling back and forth.
Even as a Ranger fan, you have to Schaefer.
20 goals.
Yeah,
youngest rookie ever.
He's inspiring. The team's good. I want to be a fan. It's just it's like me trying to root for the Yankees. It just can't happen.
I get it. So I went to the book and I said, yeah, I got to go chapter 11. It was just had to be. Trade shows, having been to one of the biggest ones for 4 days and just seeing some amazing things.
Right.
And, you know, the first day was setup day, and I walk by this booth, I come around a corner, in peripheral vision, I see green. And I immediately turn and I look, and there's 6 men there, all in this mint green t-shirt and mint green Pumas. And it's just like, they were here to be noticed.
Yep, I've seen that. Yep.
And I looked at that and I was just like, and I said to the guys, you guys look great. And they're like, yeah, it's good. I'm like, yeah, it's really good.
Right.
And, you know, seeing branding. And, you know, for our company, our branding was good for what was on the table, and that's about it. But having a plan while you're there is so key to really taking advantage and getting your ROI, or just pretending.
You're really, because when I look at trade shows, a lot of times you say, what's my return? And the simplest thing, and it's good, we have an interesting guest that ties right in. The simplest thing I look at is, okay, well, how many business cards, how many calls did you make, how many appointments did you get? Is that the only way to measure ROI? Are there other intangible factors as far as measuring ROI with a trade show? And I think there are. You know, it's just hard to quantify.
Yeah. It was eye-opening to see what money people would spend to put on a good show.
Yep.
But I will say this. For the little that I had to work with, going out and buying a $80 bottle of bourbon and raffling it off the first day got me people who weren't initially going to stop by the booth.
Right.
To have conversations. And once, I think the first day was 150 cards. I decided to give it away, and I'll get another bottle tomorrow. So I raffled it off. I I picked the winner, someone I wanted to extend to the next level and have another conversation with. And
yeah, one thing I recommend for anybody who sees this, like I'm going to do it on my next booth, I'm actually asking you to work it. Because nobody is going to generate the traffic like you would. And if I was like, Ed, they see that guy over there, I need to go meet him. I'm sure you would be, I'm sure you'd follow him out and,
the funny thing.
Track him down.
I got home late from the trade show the first night, already gave away my bottle. Yep. I'm like, I have no vehicle, I'm not Ubering. I hit up Uber Eats and I got a bottle of tequila delivered to my hotel room.
That boy.
Ready to go the next day. The guy who won day one came back and saw day two, wanted to do a swap. But it was a valuable tip. It was a valuable way to draw people with something simple.
Right.
I didn't have the $1 million look, but I had a good bottle.
So ISE West, which is the biggest trade show in the security industry, is coming up in 2 weeks. The pressure that I have with Ed on my shoulder. I've already got a full pack. I get in there Tuesday night and I leave 6 a.m. Friday morning. So it's a sprint of whatever it is, 60 hours of meetings, limited sleep, and go from there. And because all the stuff now, the trade show starts now to make it effective.
I got some more tips coming in the show that you'll definitely take advantage of. But again, the action statement to that chapter was have a plan before, during, and after.
Yep.
You know, don't just think you show up and it ends.
No, yeah. The trade show doesn't end. Might go to 5 o'clock, but the real activity starts after hours.
Correct.
The networking, the cocktail hours. Yep.
And that's where I had the least amount of opportunity because we were undermanned and I wasn't able to put that together. And my 12-hour day on the floor was go back to the hotel, eat, go to sleep, get refreshed.
Exhausting. It's exhausting. Yeah.
So, word of the day, relax. I found myself coming back from that show just so relaxed. Like I know what I just put in for 5 days of travel and I was okay with performance, success, and it's like, we're going to take a week in the house, no outside appointments, just relax.
That is a word that I don't do a good job with at this point in time in my life.
You got to add some relax.
I think as a CFO, the problem is the money pressure doesn't stop. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? The money pressure, payroll, bills, balancing cash flow.
Sales guy who gets paid by every new sale.
Yep, understand.
Doesn't know how to relax either.
Yep.
But something really cool happened. There's a report that I run that I'm usually 2 weeks behind. And when we switched over from February to March, the system glitched and I couldn't get that report. I couldn't retrieve it.
Made you nuts, probably.
No.
Oh.
It's done. I can't chase it. Let's get some other work done.
Right.
And so I ran that report last night just to make sure everything was good. I'm like, I got 8 days of work. I'm good. Relax. So, word of the day. All right. We're going to jump early to tequila time. We're going to bring our guest out. We're going to come back in 5, and we'll all do a nice shot of tequila and talk about Tony Simas. Be back. To How to Become a Sales Warrior, episode number 48. I'm your host, Eddie Pods. Co-host,
Mark Simpson.
Introduce our nice guest.
I'm very excited, and thank you for coming here. This is Tony Simas. Tony is, I'll let him talk about his company and whatnot, but Tony is somebody I'm looking at as kind of my marketing guru at this point in time, and really adds a level of sophistication that somebody like me just says marketing, but Tony basically can really break it down for you.
All right. So it's tequila time.
My favorite time.
Tony doesn't know what this is about. So tequila time is about something old and new, something that we used to do, something that we do now. Could get the same results. Maybe one's easier now because everything's so automated, or focusing on one that still works from the old tried and true. So first we toast.
Cheers.
Cheers. So it's a threefold old and new, because years ago when you went to a trade show, getting as many business cards was the goal. And then came the scanners, where you scan everybody's badges. Boop, 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 boop. they got something new now. An app that allows you to buy 3 to 5 downloads so that when you leave your booth, you don't have to take the scanner with you. You could leave it at the booth. There is no leaving it at the booth because now everybody has it on their phone. And the app, you can buy as many applicants as you want. So I bought 3.
So meaning like you didn't even meet them and you still get to buy the applicant? How does that work?
You don't have to have a scanner.
You don't even have to have a scanner.
You don't have to have a scanner. You download the app. The app becomes your scanner.
Got it. I see.
Scan the badge.
I
It's
see.
actually...
Okay. So you actually still meet the person to scan.
Yeah.
Got it.
But
Okay.
the thing is, it actually knows who's using the app.
Got it.
So when I scanned, it came up my name. When my buddy's name scanned, his name came up. But being able to not have to have multiple in the hand scanner, meaning you just carry your phone like you always do.
Yep.
And it just made it so much easier for her to go out, walk the show, meet someone, scan their QR code. So just the fact that they've developed from the scanner to something else it just keeps getting crazier.
Yeah, you don't have to stop the conversation and wait, let me get that scanner. This is good. I want to,
Right.
You know,
your phone's in your hand or pretty close to being there. Yeah. All right. So, best business decision of the week. Keep working with a purpose. That was my business decision last week. I am in a business where I have to help people. My job is to help them. Either they're moving, they need instant storage, they have a project. I'm a facilitator of help, and I really focus on that. I'm a needed accessory. That's what I am, a needed accessory. And it's important to have a purpose. And for me, my purpose is to help other people, and I love it.
My job is chief make stuff happen.
Make stuff happen.
So I think our business decision for Integris/Sem Holdings, it just was a press release that came out. I think Tony saw it as well. We just acquired a small business in Canada. Very excited about it. New member to the team, and it's all out on LinkedIn and pressed out. So the way we do it is when we look at Sem as kind of like a family business, and we brought a new member to the family. So we're very excited about that and expanding our footprint.
Awesome. Best business decision?
Best business decision of the past week. So many things happen, and my business changes all the time. I started building a presentation on how to stop marketing waste that I'm going to give to the MacArthur Business Alliance. So I think April 12th, maybe, we have a conference that we're going to do. So I started that presentation last week.
Are you using ChatGPT to help you?
I'm using
Claude?
Yeah, no, I'm using ChatGPT. Yeah, I have to fight with ChatGPT a lot, but that's I'm using it. Yeah.
See, this is what I like though, is how to stop marketing waste. So right away, it basically resonates with me off the bat, as you know, some of the things we work on.
Yeah.
All right, big win of the week. So I'm at a trade show, and there's a boss. One of my bosses show. He's not my boss. He's just a boss who comes to work the show. And I meet this company, and it tings in my head. And the guy behind me is on the phone with his team, and he runs a check on this company. And it turns out it's a company that's in my name, which is a really good thing. So, started talking to him. Immediately talks about a 30 to 40 container opportunity. Wants special pricing, blah, blah, blah. We'll get together. We need to make something like that happen. You know how it goes. Some people call, some people don't.
Right.
So I did the follow-up. All of a sudden, he called and said, we got to get this project rolling starting in 2 weeks. I could use anywhere between 20 and 50 containers. I don't know yet. There's 900 units to remodel. This is what we need to do. That's a huge win. It's a 2-year project, 900 units. If they take 50 containers, that's 10 grand cha-ching every month. Cha-ching,
right.
cha-ching, cha-ching.
Right.
It's a pretty good win.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. And it paid for the trade show.
There you go.
ROI, baby. Big win?
So, again, so my things take time. And again, a lot of what I do is I'm connected to multiple companies. So we had a customer that had a problem. Problem was, hey, we have loitering outside of a storefront. Trying to be careful not to say names. We have loitering. All right, we want to basically fix the problem. So through Sem and my relationships, we've deployed mobile trailers in locations in Texas to solve the problem. And it's a very big opportunity for all the parties involved because this is across the country. So we'll see what happens. But it's been a 2-year effort of relationships, work, and whatnot to get to this level to really deliver a valuable solution to the
So
customer.
the solution is at the unit that when someone gets close, it actually speaks and scares and tells you to get the fuck off the property?
More so than that. What happens is it's automated. So after 5 minutes, there's an automated announcement. After 10 minutes,
Right.
another announcement. After 15 minutes, then a live person comes on. Sir, you in the purple tie, you can't be here. There's no loitering. And then police will be dispatched. And so the technology now, what happens is it's AI driven. So instead of just basically having runaway signals, it basically can track for time periods. 10 minutes, nobody comes on. After 15 minutes, follows you around, hits the timer. Okay, now a live person comes on. So that's kind of the next phase and what we'll see in video monitoring. And then pretty soon you'll see drones, but I won't get into that just quite yet.
Big win of the week?
Big win of the week. Well, one of them might be that I started teaching at Fordham last semester, and I got asked to come back and do another course. So
Tell me the name of the course.
it's basically intro to business class for business freshmen to understand the business world and how they tie to different majors, so they can pick their major with background and understanding. They don't know the difference between finance and accounting or.
So I'm going to be cutting right now.
Marketing.
What gives you the experience to be able to speak at a college? What made them hire you? Tell me.
What made them hire me? I think it was the way that I look at growing a business and understanding of the business cycle was a big piece of it. Another piece was that they found me to be an engaging lecturer. I did, I did a number of guest lecturing at the classes. I also went to Fordham. I got my MBA there too, so that helped.
Makes sense.
Volunteering.
There's
Yeah,
the
makes
end.
sense.
Yeah,
I was
so
looking
there's
for the
all
end.
these things. Yeah,
That's awesome. Great stuff. All right. A question from a previous podcast guest. We got Dan Vulture. He was on episode 16 on August 20th, 2024. When are you going to start doing training seminars? Good call, Danny. I'm actually working with Adam on doing a trade show seminar before the HIA event, because many people from the industrial park will be there. Many people will be there. Many people in his organization will be there. So we're working on locking down a location to do a pre-show do's and don'ts of trade shows. So
I think
that's the answer.
that is perfect for you.
Yeah.
Right up my
Perfect.
alley.
Right
Right up my alleys.
Yep.
Oh, wait. No, that was a question. All right,
question,
there
yeah.
you go. Networking tip. This is going to fit into where you and I were the other night. Be yourself regardless of the age in the room. I didn't realize until I left that event the other night, besides you, you're probably late 40s?
Early.
All right. I was the oldest person in the room now.
Oh, really?
And I realized every person I spoke to was between the ages of 30 and 40. And I only spoke to 5 people, but they were all hearty 20-minute conversations. And I realized that I'm just as comfortable talking to someone half my age as I am to someone my own age. And why is that important? Because when you do go to trade shows, most of the marketing people are young people. You know, you do have some of the old timers coming to run a booth here and there, but these new booths with the new dynamic and the situation, they got all their youngsters there, the pretty girls, the handsome boys, and I just felt that it's pretty cool that at 61, I can still be relevant in a room with people half my age.
Yeah, listen, as you get older, it's harder, I see it's harder to become relevant, and more important to be relevant.
Your networking tip?
This is a simple one. It's 2 things. Be nice to people and try not to have an ego. You never know how things shake out. Whoever you're talking to, don't make prejudgments. I can't emphasize enough that a nice conversation that you might have with someone from 15 years ago will
Still resonates.
And the world is as big as it is, it's still a smaller place, and you just never know how things come back around, and you never hurt, and sometimes you have to bite your lip. Be nice to people. And again, as you kind of proceed, especially in kind of the world I live in, if you can take your ego and put it to the side, and just remember, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. You're all the same.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what your position is. If you approach it that way, I think people can appreciate that.
Tony, networking tip? Take something from our event the other night.
Well, yeah. So like Nixon Social is such a great. That's such a great group because they embody the idea of just let's get together with a lot of great people who really care about each other and share and collaborate and don't even think there's no pressure there.
There's no
right?
selling.
And Adam curates that. I think I think though that when you said earlier that the purpose of this podcast is to help younger folks understand the best practices, leading practice things to do. My networking tip would really be that even if you don't know anybody or feel like you have anything to contribute, what you have to contribute is the people that you meet. So every time you meet somebody, write it down, who they are, what they do, what they want, what they like, and then connect them to somebody else. Making those connections is the biggest piece of networking. Getting two people together who want to meet each other and meet or could. Yep. That's a value you can provide, and it doesn't matter what your experience level is, you can do that.
We preach in my networking group, Networking for Charity, that I run on Tuesdays, we preach not everyone in this room is going to be able to give leads to other people in this room, but what you can give is a connection. Someone in your Rolodex that could help somebody else out. It may go nowhere, it may not lead to anything, but when people know you're trying to help them or they feel that you're trying to connect them, you become important to them.
Right.
I think one thing you've seen with me and some of the things I've been involved in, when I go places, I usually kind of have the little Simpson army that follows me, and now Tony's kind of gotten sucked into
Tony's in the army. He's in the army.
Here to help.
Well, again, not the tangent, but again, you can't, having those relationships and bringing them along in your career is invaluable. Trusting people and working with people you trust, and we try not to work with people that, annoy us at this point in time, and I think it's very important.
Tony, what's the name of your company?
Client Growth Partners.
Client Growth Partners. Where are you out of?
Belmore, New York.
Yeah, so interesting story if I can get into it. So through this podcast, we had Adam Holzer on. I joined Adam's group. Tony and I met. It was just a random thing. And again, if we follow this segment here, this is how business works. We meet a couple times, no pressure, just, normal talk. And we meet again, and I say, hey, look, I got a couple different things. And next thing I know, say, hey, let me introduce you into one of the businesses. And when I always do an introduction, I always try to be arm's length because I never want to, I want a collaborative decision. Boom, Tony comes in, great. Another business, let me introduce you in. Boom, Tony comes in. Next thing I know, Tony and I are involved, not daily, but weekly on various things. And what's interesting with your approach to things, so I look at, sometimes a CFO, you're kind of like black and white a little bit and, very numbers focused. And anytime there's financial pressure, you're always like, oh, let me cut the marketing or cut the sales or whatnot. But that's not, right? Again,
you get cut, I get cut. We're the first ones to go, man.
HR too. But no, so I think what's been interesting in your approach, Tone, and we'll get into it, is your approach to marketing is a lot more sophisticated. And me, putting my ego aside, marketing is just a word. It's a line on a P&L. And that's not the right way when you really look at marketing. From a CFO perspective, it's a line on a P&L, but measuring the return on investment, we're kind of going through real life as we go through this journey together now. Mm-hmm. So just be interested. So how did you end up at Fordham as a professor? You covered that a little bit, but was that something that you were looking to do, or was it you fell into it?
Yeah, actually I did. It took about 3-4 years to get there.
Okay.
I asked when I was at school, this professor that was awesome, Professor Zerpolo, he's an amazing guy, and I said, how do you become an adjunct professor? And he told me, he said, you got to volunteer, you got to do some guest lecturing, let them know that you want to be an adjunct professor, and then once something comes up, then they'll tap you for it. So it took about 3.5 years of saying.
And you're an alum from there.
I am an alum. Yep,
so that helps too. When you first left Fordham, take me through your process?
Well, I went to Boston College undergrad, and I got a degree in chemistry, and then I watched paint dry for a little while, which is boring as you'd think it is, but I learned a lot about people and technology in that period, and then I did an operations consulting job, food manufacturing. So
interesting. You go to Boston College in chemistry, and now you have a marketing business.
Yeah.
It's okay.
College takes you there, man.
Yeah. Well, I chose Well, I chose my major because of the breadth that it allows you to do, actually.
Okay.
So I wanted to be an attorney, and chemistry was interesting. But if I was an attorney, if I got a political science degree, I'd be almost pigeonholed into teacher or attorney. But with a chemical degree, I could not only be a teacher, an attorney, I could be a patent attorney, which they make more money than I heard before. And then I could also go work in a lab. I could go sell chemicals. There's just a huge number of things that you can do that with that political science degree would have been like much more difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So where was your first job out of college?
I was watching paint dry.
Yep.
At a paint ingredient supplier.
I knew he wasn't kidding when he said watching paint dry.
Yeah.
I knew that. That wasn't just this job is so fucking boring. It's just like watching paint dry.
And I thought audit was exciting.
Yeah, no, you can actually watch paint
So
dry.
when did you get into marketing?
Well, I was in applications marketing at that time. So I'd watch the paint dry, see what it did, and then I would make marketing materials for the salespeople to help them sell the product. They'd tell me what the customers wanted, then I'd articulate that to R&D, so I was a product marketer at that time.
And where was this?
In Boston, north of Boston.
Okay. And then so did you ever end up this was a real company, and you moved on to another business?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to do pharmaceutical sales at that time, and then a guy reached
Makes sense, you get a car, good money.
Oh, yeah. But by 2005-ish, the Pfizer was having some trouble with Celebrex and some other things, and there was
Also changed a lot of regulations on how you could bribe sales.
Exactly. There are no more expense accounts.
Yeah.
Like, there's just super changes. And so somebody saw that I had a degree in chemistry and I wanted to do pharmaceutical sales. So I think it was Ron Burgess. He reached out to me on Monster.com and sent one line email, which had never replied today. Do you want to do technical sales? I was like, sure, I can sell anything. What's that? And so that's how I got into this. The next business was there's two companies I was looking at working for, and moved down here to New York. And we sold chemicals to food manufacturers, and then with that extra cost, we had like operational savings targets that we would do. So I was on retainer to help them troubleshoot challenges, look at quality, reduce production time, reduce waste spend.
What?
All right, how do we get to marketing?
Yeah. So what was the jump? No, what was the jump?
Okay, well,
in essence, your business.
I was in sales, and this is going to be controversial for you, but I can just jump to the ahead. So sales for me, salespeople are marketers. They're a dynamic advertisement.
I agree with that.
So I was
sales
in
and marketing, marketing and sales, it's hand in hand.
It is. So you're
if you're working together.
Well, this is one thing I've found is most people don't realize that they're actually doing marketing. They have no idea. And
I do know that I'm doing marketing, and I've known it for a long time. And the ironic part is that I work for a very large company, and I have not had marketing support in most of my 15 years. There's someone to make a flyer here and there, but no marketing plan, no spend, no.
Right, but what's interesting, I think to your point, if you were to hire a new salesperson, first sales job, they think they're a salesperson.
Yep.
They're not thinking that they're actually representing the business and marketing as well, right?
My first sales job, I read every single sell sheet, technical data sheet, advertisement. So I knew when to place it. I understood that there was a customer journey. If people were not aware of your company, they're making a decision, they wanted to buy, customer success. I kind of just understood that they were at one of those points on that journey. And in marketing, you have to take intent signals to see if people are at a certain point on that journey. So like if somebody's walking down the street and it's raining and they don't have an umbrella, they probably want an umbrella, and that's why you bring all the umbrellas up to the front of the store, so that's marketing. The weather service will tell you can actually the Weather Channel, they sell that information to marketers so that they can target people where it's going to rain.
Like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fun trade show thing. Now they have those when you take somebody on with a scanner and you say like, oh, okay, they're interested in XYZ, and you're doing, like, let's say you're going to do a talk on XYZ the next day, you can actually geo-target them with ads to remind them about the talk. So at places where they doom scroll, waiting for the bus on that 40-minute cab ride back to the hotel, in the hotel lobby, that's when you can target them directly. And it's targeted because they're
Or immediately give them the
you are.
creepy vibe.
Well, they're doom scrolling. It's like, oh yeah, I'm here at the conference. Oh yeah,
I get it.
Right.
I get it.
You don't want to call them and be like, hey, I saw you came to my website.
How did you make the leap to be it's a big deal to go out on your own and basically hang your own shingle and say, okay, now I'm a marketing firm.
Yeah.
What was the thought process and how'd you do that?
Well, I didn't intend to. I was a strategy consultant for the past 6 years. One of the things I loved most about it was when somebody would say, Tony, we need somebody to manage our marketing department and help them develop a plan, a strategy, and then execute on it. And that's what I did a number of times, both owning the P&L and also as a consultant. And so when I went to work for a company, and they agreed to hire me to be in their strategy consulting group and do B2B, build up their manufacturing customer client base. And about 2 months in, they said, Tony, you seem to be really good with difficult people. Will you come do budget strategy at a university? So then I was 100% utilized on budget strategy in the university. And I was like, well, after 2 years, I'm like, hey, can I not do this anymore? Can I go back to like B2B with sales and like products and services? And they're like, nope. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to try to find a new job. And right at that time when I said that, the market seemed like it was going up, and then it tanked.
Right.
And then months later, people started getting laid off. And it was, but so I
How long ago was this?
This was like 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I had a company that wanted to move on to Long Island, wanted to expand into Long Island, and so they wanted to hire me on a retainer. Since I was getting paid, I needed to have an LLC, and since I had an LLC, I needed a website, I guess. So I had a website, I needed a blog. So now I have a weekly blog on marketing strategy, and I have a business and website and everything else.
Let me
and
ask you
just
something.
snowballed into getting more business.
So one of the things that's interesting, one of the things that I found interesting in our conversations, a lot of businesses, when they talk about marketing, they say, okay, I'm doing SEO, or I'm doing website, but I'm not really seeing any results on that.
Yeah.
What is, maybe for the audience, you can explain, like somebody like me who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to dedicate a certain amount of dollars to Google or a certain amount of dollars to SEO, but I don't really see the return on investment.
Yeah, I mean, to get a return on investment, you need to have clear costs and then clear revenues or something pointing to the revenues, right? And the challenge with marketing is that it's, first of all, there's no common definition. If you Google what is marketing, you get 10 different answers. And
they're all right.
They're all right, but they're like academic. Like marketing is doing a SWOT analysis in Porter's 5 Forces, or they're like marketing is helping a person become aware of and buy your product, right? It's academic and it's just general, theoretical. And marketing is actually, and the other piece that compounds it, kind of to your point of like buying SEO, you can't buy marketing. It's not a transactional. It's not transactional products and services, but everybody looks at it as transactional. So like, oh, I need a website. I'm going to buy a website. Oh, I need people to go to the website. I'm going to pay for SEO. But actually, there's a whole ecosystem around it.
Right, but it's all marketing.
It is. It's all marketing.
Part of it, but do you design websites?
So let me
answer the question. Do you design websites?
Do I design websites? I facilitate the design of websites, yes.
So that's not something you do.
Can I build a website? Yes. Do you want to hire me to build a website? No.
So let me.
Very expensive.
So what Tony helped us with is we had websites, but they weren't really
doing anything.
Giving the message or representing the company the right way. And what I think is interesting is what Tony's role for our various businesses is that Tony kind of is everything marketing and strategically is trying to align that. Am I saying that fairly?
Right.
Yeah.
I do marketing strategy.
So what's important? So what hits home for me, again, every now and then I have to pretend to be a finance guy. So let me pretend now. I would say, hey, we're spending this amount of money. It's just almost like a recurring expense. I don't really know. If we get sales, we get sales. How do I feel like? How do I make a difference? And I said to Tony, I want some of these businesses, I want to see them. I want to build social media. I want to have a connection between a LinkedIn, a website, and whatnot. So what Tony's role for us is bring that all together, because you have somebody like me says, just do it. And that's the problem. A lot of companies, they don't have a quarterback that will basically say, okay, well, instead of just, you have a CFO who says, okay, I want this done, or our COO want this done. But strategically, is you have to take a step back and say, okay, how are we aligning this to have the message? And that's what's kind of very interesting from my side.
You actually sound like a general contractor.
That was the example that I was going to give, right?
Like general contractor, you are facilitating all the options for the job, whether it's pulling the electrician from over here, the plumber from over here, you're pulling the web design guy from here, your videographer over here. Makes more sense now. Like that's why I was trying to get to that point. Like, let me understand this.
Because you'd never, if you went to this is the weird thing with marketing. It's like acceptable to hire a marketer. Like some people have one marketing person working at their company, and they'll expect them to do everything. But you'd never say, oh, I want to build a house. Is there anybody that can do the plumbing, can do the electrical, can put the roof on, be the architect? No, you'd never. You'd be
very few.
That's a great example. Yeah.
Or you could. I mean, like a plumber could do your electrical. I'm sure. Like 90. But yeah, I'm sure they could figure it out, right? Well, yeah, your lights might be leaking water, but they could figure it out. So that's like one of the challenges that. There's so many things to unpack there. But marketing, by the way, we haven't really defined marketing. So
we don't need to.
I can do that really quickly, so it's super clear for everybody. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
All right, go.
Marketing is it's a business function. It's a department within a business. And so there's 5 different areas to it, and there's 14 different jobs.
Give me the 5.
The 5 areas are market management, product management, branding and communications, digital marketing, and then events.
Do you consider digital social media too?
Yeah, within digital, there's social media, there's web design. Within social media, there's actually specialists for TikTok versus Instagram.
Yeah.
Within e-commerce, there's companies that only do Amazon ads. They don't do Home Depot ads or other platforms.
Understood.
And when you say just, there's so many things, but when you say just buy it, right? If you go to somebody and say, hey, can I get SEO? They'll be like, absolutely. I did a RFP for a company. They were taking all their orders via phone, email, and they wanted to have a client. Their clients wanted them to have a client portal to put their orders into. And along with that, we said, well, we'll do SEO too. So we asked all the marketing agencies to bid on SEO. And the prices were everywhere, and nobody listed out all of the things, the deliverables and results or activities they were going to do for that SEO. Not one person.
It's very unpredictable.
It is.
You really can't, unless you're willing to spend good money, that being number one in the search, yeah, that's great. And I get fooled by it all the frickin' time. I'll type something in and I'll click so fast. And I'm on some other person's webpage.
Right.
Hate it.
Right, and it's always the big companies that are the first because they spend the most money, right? Is that how it works?
Sometimes. I've seen a lot of
You're never going to
mid-range companies.
Jet Ski and Windex for a glass cleaner.
Right.
But it's also, if you click on those, if you click on those ads, or that if you can rank somebody high, but if you haven't built out your entire ecosystem, if you click on the website, Google doesn't want you to click on it and go like, why am I here? But if you haven't built a good experience, a credible experience, so that's one of the first things we do. We do 2 things when we start out with a business. Well, I'll step back. Every business owner, when they want to grow, they do 2 things. They start running ads and they hire a sales rep. 3 months after they start the ads, they stop that. And 18 months later, the salesperson exits.
I'm 15 years to that story.
How do you break the trend? So you break the trend.
I do. I break that trend. I give the business owner what they want. They want to run the ads. We start running ads within like 2 weeks. But those ads are purposeful in 2 ways because they build credibility in the industry. So they're focused, they're curated based on a leader within the industry and up promoting them, so that when somebody clicks on the website or you get an email from them and you click on their LinkedIn profile, you're like, oh my gosh, this person knows what they're talking about. They write about it all the time. They're trustworthy. So when you do the click, it makes sense. When you go to their website, oh, it's trustworthy. It makes sense. You go to their Google business profile. Oh, it goes right to the website. They've got all this stuff.
So for example, on Integritus, we're using Kevin O'Brien as our expert.
Right.
Right. And so we've built up a credibility. We've got LinkedIn presence, all that other stuff. I think it's an interesting challenge because you have somebody like me who's throwing all kinds of stuff. I want to do this. I want social media. But what I think it's interesting is that you have to, I think in your role, you're kind of trying to balance somebody like me who's pushing all kinds of stuff, but not strategically, versus saying, okay, look, we took O'Brien, now we have a presence, and we're built from there.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does. And then I have to give you an outlet for where all of your stuff goes, because this is the, this is where strategy comes in. The founder of Boston Consulting Group, they released a book in the 1990s, and they defined strategy, the most used and abused word in the business language. But what they didn't tell you is that as a big consulting firm, they actually have a process for doing strategy. They keep it close to the vest. So that's why people just say they're a strategist, but then they can't articulate what it is. I've got it. It's a plan.
You said before, sales reps are marketing people, and then you said they hire the marketing team, they hire the sales guy, and then they fire the sales guy and the marketing team goes away.
Yeah.
So to that point, I beat out the marketing team as a one. Me, 15 years with the same company, they've had marketing teams, they've all been fired and let go, yet I have gone from $0 to $7 million, over $50 million in total sales in that 15-year period that there was no marketing team.
Yeah.
So a one lone gang can carry a good portion of business.
What would it have been like if you had, right? Imagine like if
I would be doing $10 million a year. I wouldn't.
And that's the part I don't understand.
$3 million a year
because
if there was.
So we've had this conversation before on this podcast. The ROI to me for that business is a no-brainer. If I look at this independent, I'd be like, all right, Tony, what we're doing with O'Brien, if I did over here on this side, it would basically potentially double your business, triple your business, and the ROI is a no-brainer. So I don't get why that doesn't happen.
Because I haven't had the leadership to have the same vision as I have. Every 3 years I get a new leader. Every 5 years we get a new CEO, and policy changes. People come in, they want to do it their way, and I just keep going along.
You learn strategy two ways. One, hard knocks. You've built a business. You've figured out how to turn it around. So I've done that twice in my career with product and business. But then it's also that formal training. Nobody gets that formal training unless you work at McKinsey or BCG. And then marketing is undefined. So you don't know how you can't buy something that's undefined.
True.
And so everybody's like, and there's so much noise out there of what it is. And you're trying to do that. We have a 4-phase learn, plan, build, execute. And there's 10 steps, 40 elements, and 300 considerations. So whenever Mark says something to me, it's like, oh, that's consideration number 259. This is when it happens. It's after we do the execution. Now, sometimes there's low-hanging fruit, and we can execute on it right away. And we have to. We can't wait for a plan to start moving forward.
Pyramid that you just talked about, do you actually have that on a document, spreadsheet?
Oh, we have a customer portal where all of that stuff, and we go through each individual element, and we risk assess it throughout the entire process. Right. So we say, what's the sophistication we use to do this? So did we hire somebody's, our neighbor's nephew to draw the logo, or did we go to Ogilvy in the city for $1 million? And then how do we validate it? How do we make sure, because, how do we make sure that this is going to work somehow, right? Do we ask experts? Do we look into potential customers, new customers, existing customers, or do we just figure it out on our own?
Got a hunch.
Right. That's what most people do. They're like, they'll sit we'll do a day-long workshop and figure out our value proposition. That's a little bit less risky than the two of us sitting here and doing the value proposition. So we measure that risk. And then there's a third risk, which is, does Tony think this is going to have a negative impact on future sales?
If you're an expert and they trust your vision, you have that feel, you have that vibe.
So, and that's my cue to challenge the assumptions, right? Hey, we're having somebody do this. Like interesting, Fordham just changed their logo from an F to a different font of an F.
Why?
Do you know how many interviews they did to make sure that was right?
Probably 20.
8,600.
Huh?
Yeah, and that's
obsessive.
That's the type of crap I can't deal with.
That's obsessive.
But,
all right, we got to get to our last two questions. Yeah. You get the second to last.
Fair enough. So besides blowing up Integritas in the next 5 years, which I'm very excited to do.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself and your business are in the next 5 years?
Well, I have a couple of different exit plans, but I mean, one is equity in a business. So it's that's where I could potentially grow and actually make it bigger, and then or also hiring more marketing managers who can have the weekly discussions that I have with the client. So then I'm really just coming in for that. Let me challenge your assumptions. So if they fill it all in, then we can go faster and we can get more scale. So those two things.
Cool. Last question is the fun one. If you could sit down and have a nice Italian dinner with anybody, past or present, alive or dead, who would you like to sit and have a meal with?
Oh my gosh.
Who comes to your mind first?
So many people. My dad.
That's a good one. We've had a few of my dads.
Yeah. He passed away like 1.5 years ago, but
I get it. If you look into that camera, tell everyone who you are, name your company, where they could find you, social media stuff.
Yeah. Tony Simas, Client Growth Partners. You can find me on LinkedIn, Tony Simas, Simas. It's probably the best place to reach out, or cgp.life.
Mark?
Mark Simpson from Integritas Group, SEM Holdings. Tony will be pushing us all over the place. You can find me on LinkedIn, 917-414-4027.
Eddie Potts here. So I'm leaning in a direction of being an expert on trade shows. So I'm going to be putting together, have already put it together, a seminar on trade shows. If you're going to a trade show, you really need to see this. You really need to get the ROI. You'll find me at eddiepods@gmail.com or YouTube, How to Become a Sales Warrior. We're out. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.